John, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you. It is good to be home. I am
Mm.
not quite adjusted back to this time zone, but I'm sure I will be tomorrow because it is 9:15 and I am still awake.
Yeah.
This has not been the case for the last 3 nights.
Uh,
Not for lack of trying, but I have not been able to stay awake, which means I've been waking up at like 3:30 in the morning.
of course.
Wide awake.
Hmm.
Wide awake. Yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway.
I think there's some part of a conversation earlier today. You made an offhanded comment. Well, I've been in this chair since 4 a.m. I need a break. Like
Yeah.
4 a.m. Oh, yeah, I know why it
Yeah.
was probably 4 a.m.
I, yeah, it's been great actually. I've come down like got a solid 2 hours of work in before I
Hmm.
had to go up and take a shower and make some coffee and come back down for the meetings to start.
Right.
But but yeah, I need to actually sleep. So, but that's okay. But yes,
Sleep is good.
sleep is good. So I had a very eventful week last week. It was fun. Did you hold down the Oregon fort?
I did. I Yes. It was a less eventful week for me.
Well, thank you for covering the podcast and everything else last week.
We did
Um,
a something fun volume 3.
yes, I actually didn't listen to it yet, but I will.
You've heard it
It's-
before.
I'm sure I did, but I don't know what you chose though, so I gotta find that out. But yeah. So we were in Scotland for spring break. First
Uh,
time
I
any of
am
us had been in Scotland.
I am jealous.
And the weather was good. That's what everybody was
Good.
like. Scotland in March? Are you dumb? And
Hey,
that might have been a direct quote, actually. um,
oh, I'm from Oregon. I think I can handle some rain.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
But other than one, I'll say inopportune hail. We were on the middle of a hike, pretty hot, and the weather was iffy,
Yeah.
but decent. But we were on a hike, or evidently in Scotland they call hiking hill walking,
Hill walking.
which I like that. I thought that's a cool word. But my son was like he must have looked up like most popular hikes on Skye, because one of the days we were on the Isle of Skye, and there's this hike. It's called the Old Man of Store, and it's basically straight up, and then you hit stairs where you're like, I
Okay.
don't know how they did this, but they like have rock stairs that they've put there,
Cool.
and it's just going up and up and up and up and up, and it started hailing, and
Mm.
it was so windy we couldn't really. I mean, like we crested this ridge because it was getting high,
Hmm.
and we crested this ridge, and the hail was coming horizontal, and my son couldn't even barely. I have a lot more mass than he does, so I was able to sort of, you
You
know,
can tie a string to him and he starts to kite.
yeah, use him as a kite. But anyway, so I was like, "Welcome to the top." When we turned the corner at the top,
I have
near
hereby
the top.
decided this is the top.
We were probably still a quarter of a mile from the actual like rock face, but I was like, it's yeah, no, welcome to the top. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So anyway, that was the only weather. Other than that, it was really really good. We
Nice.
drove like 800 miles overall,
Okay.
and it only takes 2.5 hours to go across the country practically.
And that's on the wrong side of the road.
Yes, it was my first time driving on the left.
How was
It
that?
was it was it
Any
was especially nerve-wracking at the beginning, but actually that wasn't the worst part of the things. I'll tell you, because but yes, like my wife at like day 3, she was like, "Well, you're not going as slow as you were yesterday." um, but evidently in their roads are numbered, and the fewer numbers there are, the bigger the road is. So like
Okay.
9 is a big road, like freeway,
Okay.
but mostly like a two lane
Okay.
highway.
Okay.
But the 2 number roads, like I don't know, 83. Like they were okay, but tight. Like if tighter than I was comfortable with big rigs coming at me on the wrong side of the road
Yeah.
and things like that. Cause I'm like, holy mackerel. But
Mm-hmm.
so one of the days we drove up to Inverness. We were in Edinburgh for a couple of days, and then we got an Airbnb out on the west by the locks. We were actually we were by Locky, like
Okay.
Lakey McLakeface. I don't know, like
They love their
it's
names
the
up there.
it's the lakiest lake that has ever laked. I don't know. Anyway, so Locky, I think that's just south. There might be one other in between it and Loch Ness. But anyway, so we were kind of at an Airbnb there, and one of the days we drove up past Loch Ness, the whole length up to Inverness, and stopped at Uquart Castle and Culloden up by Inverness and had lunch in Inverness. And anyway, it was fun. That was good. But we drove up the west side of Loch Ness. So like when we were coming home, I was like, well, who wants to go back the same road they did earlier? Let's go down the east side because it looked like there was a road on both sides. Well, the road on the east was a 3-digit road. I did not know what this meant until we were in and realized that we had like 60 miles to go.
Mm-hmm.
A 3-digit road, at least that 3-digit road, is a 1-lane road with passing places.
Passing places.
There were signs that said passing place. Frequently, thank goodness, but not frequently enough, because I was clearly head to head, like playing chicken, with people who drove this road every day, knew exactly where the passing places were, and expected me to behave as if it did not matter that they were coming at me at 50 miles an hour. Oh, and by the way, you could drive 60 miles an hour on these roads. I was driving 30 at the max. And anyway, it was a little ridiculous. I don't know how long it took us to get home at that point.
Okay.
Because by the time I was like 10 or 20 miles in, I'm like, what am I going to do? Like go back along this? This is like, and then it was getting done. Anyway, that was the bit of an adventure.
Okay.
And then Google says turn onto a road that looked even tinier, like 2 tracks in a woods.
Turn left onto the motorcycle
and I was like,
path.
holy mackerel, where are you taking us? And it's pitch black at this point. And, and anyway, I'm like, if anybody, at least I could see maybe lights coming. Anyway, that was the most adventurous we kind of got there, which was like, my wife was like, are you sure you want to turn down that road? I'm like, anyway, we're Google mapping going, well, it's only like a mile and a half that way, or we got to go like 7 or 8 miles that way. Anyway, that was, so from that day forward, we tried to pay attention. Is that a 2-digit road or a 3-digit road? We're not going to go on the 2-digit road or the 3-digit roads. we like 2-digit roads. Well, anyway.
Okay. All right.
But the castles were amazing. Like I actually just in like literally right before this, I was like to Gemini, what are the top 10 castles in Scotland to visit? And we saw the top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Perfect.
We actually did not see 6 through 10. So evidently that's for a visit number 2 at some point. But I did not plan that from Gemini. But yeah, anyway, it was
very cool.
It was a good week. It was a fun week. So yeah.
Well, my week less exciting, but we didn't talk about Project Hail Mary.
Oh, yes.
You saw that right before you left. I saw that.
Yes.
And it's been a while. Your 2 cents. What was my opinion about it? I didn't give you any spoilers.
I agree that it was a good adaptation.
Okay.
For the masses.
Yes.
Because they skipped all the fun science bits.
Yeah.
Like, and okay,
Fair.
So in my head, I know nobody else cares about breeding Talmebas, but I do. like that was the fun bits. Anyway, so I agree that
it was good. We're seeing in the theater.
It was worth seeing. I don't even remember the last time I was in a theater. I might have been with you.
Probably.
Which was like before the Sherwood Theater closed down 4 years ago or however long that was. But
it's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah. Anyway, but
okay.
Yeah, that was good. And I'd probably go see it again, even in the theater.
Yeah.
If I have the opportunity. But actually, I got to see Hoppers, which I haven't seen yet.
We went and saw Hoppers too.
Is it worth it?
It is. It's quite good, and I think it's Pixar getting back to what they were actually good at with the storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, just straight up fun storytelling, not trying to get too deep in the weeds anywhere. It was just fun storytelling, I think.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, a friend said it was good, so
we liked it.
I have been meaning to do that. So
Okay.
Anyway, that'll be fun.
Yeah. The rest of so I had my little Squares revival. It's back in the App Store. I've been
published, not
published,
just,
published.
not just
the little game. Nope, it's not test flight. It's in the store. I've been handing out some free promo codes in exchange for people to give me some good reviews. So hopefully it'll at least catch a few eyeballs at some point.
Nice.
But you remember Castnip. So back in 2018, when we were first starting the podcast,
yeah.
I was thinking, hey, it would be cool back when it was called Twitter and it was relatively cool. We should be, taking snips of our podcast and promoting our podcast, but there was no easy way to just grab 10 seconds of a podcast and push it to social media anywhere.
Yeah.
So I created an app called Cast Snip that did that, and it was in the App Store for about a year. And then the more popular podcast players like Overcast and Castro and a few others added clip sharing to the native podcast app. And I was getting negative reviews for Castnip because the reviewers were saying, this is the worst podcast player ever. It doesn't keep track of blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, because it's not really a podcast player.
It's not a podcast player.
it's really just a cool little feature.
That's the top line of your description. This is not a podcast player.
Pretty much. That's what it was. So anyway, I took it off. But my oldest daughter, who listens to a lot of different types of podcasts, in a conversation with her, made mention, Dad, I wish there was a way to easily share clips of my podcast. I'm like, let me tell you.
Wait a second.
And at first I said, go to Overcast or Castro, because she tried Overcast for a while, didn't like it. I don't remember what she's using now. She's using some other one. And she doesn't like any of the ways that they do clip sharing. And I said, well, what do you want it to do? And she said, this is what I would like. And so I said, well, let me build it. So I did some quick hacking hacking to the old Castnip code and said, is this better? And she's like, ooh, now make it do this. Ooh, now make it do this. So now I have got it back up and running to the point, but now I'm kind of at the tedious stage
her Claude is named Eric.
Yes, pretty much. I'm redoing all the screenshots and getting the Apple App Store bits and pieces in place. And that part is not easily Claudable yet. At least I have not trusted Claude to drive websites for me yet. I'll probably get there at some point. So probably in the next few weeks or so, Castnip will be back in the App Store.
Awesome.
I'm trying to decide, do I put it for $5 and so that I give her a code just so people don't just download it and say, this is the worst podcast player ever.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
No, you put it for $50 or put it for $2 a month. Don't put it, nothing is just $5 one time.
Yeah. Nah. So, and then that's pretty much.
Yeah, I think I'm on test flight for that. I just got to see.
You are. I'm sure you are. I am.
There we go. Look at that.
Yeah.
I will install it again.
So, and then the other exciting news in the Wheeler household, I have a new vehicle.
Oh, I saw the picture.
So it's a fun little car. It was one of those. I've been looking for one for 6 months because I know that the lease on the little Mini that I have, the electric Mini I have now, is in the next couple of weeks. I have a drop dead date in a couple of weeks. So I've been looking over the last 4 or 5, 6 months just for see if I can find a good deal, get something. So I ended up with a eruption green Bronco Sport, Ford Bronco Sport, which my boy really likes. And so it'll eventually be his vehicle, but that's what I'm going to drive for a couple of years.
You get to wear off the new car smell.
Yes, I get to wear off the new car smell, and then we'll. So now I have 3 vehicles until I can schedule a return
for
of the Mini
period of time.
Yeah. So that was the other exciting thing that happened.
Well, I look forward to the next time we can go to lunch and I can check it out.
Yeah. It's a nice little car. I actually snuck out to lunch with another buddy who wanted to see it. And I'm like, you get me lunch, I'll take you anywhere you want to go. So it was fun.
What's this? How big's the screen in it? Like, I assume it's got wireless CarPlay.
It is, and it's 13 inches, but it's wide, like very rectangular. So I think it's like about 6 inches tall, but 13.4. I mean, it's almost 2x1.
It's not right behind the steering wheel, is it?
No, there is a dash one, but the CarPlay is above in the center dash. So
anyway, well, it'll be fun. Okay, because I was looking at one. This was I don't know, a year ago. Wasn't one of those. Clearly, it was a Hyundai that, like, the whole dash was kind of narrow but wide screen. Yeah, it wasn't really clear where the screens ended. But anyway, yeah, it was cool. I think it was a Kona, maybe. Okay. Anyway. Okay. All right. Very exciting. Exciting news in the Wheeler household. Yeah. All right. Big week.
Yeah. I'll give you my least interesting thing that happened this week. That's my topic.
The least interesting thing.
This one was fascinating, and it's prompt engineering. You could. With prompt engineering, there was a lot of effort on jailbreaking an LLM, like figuring out how to craft a prompt so that you could get the LLM to give you information that it shouldn't. Mm-hmm. The guardrails and whatnot that they have in those. So this historically has always been a human-driven effort. But some researchers from the University of Stuttgart and Ellis Alicante, I think, built reasoning models to do the jailbreaking attacks autonomously. Mm-hmm. And they're able to jailbreak 9 different models at a 97% success rate. So what was interesting about what they did is they didn't do a brute force type attack. They did a sophisticated natural language persuasion attack, meaning they used the reasoning models, or their reasoning models use a chain of thought capabilities to think through how to bypass the target's guardrail. So it's an LLM versus an LLM. And so, for example, it's not just kind of this one-shot prompt that you can say, do, and boom, you win. It's using multi-turn conversation, so up to 10 back and forths with the LLM. They started with a greeting, a benign greeting to lower the target's suspicion. They pretended to be student researchers to justify harmful requests. They used massive amounts of technical jargon to try to overwhelm the target system's safety filters. And so it was interesting that I think what the industry has assumed that the smarter your models were, the easier they were to align to your target goals of protecting against prompt manipulation. And the researchers argue that it's actually the opposite. That as the models get better at reasoning, they get better at finding the gaps in the rules of the other models. And so you just kind of have this attacker versus target combinations. The DeepSeek R1 model was the most surgical and efficient with a 90% success rate. And the Grok 3 was the most persistent and continued to push for more harm even after an initial breakthrough. The most resistant was Claude for Sonnet. It reached a maximum harm in only 2-3% of the use cases and had a refusal rate over 50%. DeepSeek 3 was the most susceptible, and Grok 3 often added a disclaimer, like for educational purposes only, but then provided the harmful content anyways. So,
yeah.
Anyways,
AKA.
Yeah.
Don't do this, but
yeah. So,
okay.
The attacks only cost a few pennies in API credits, and building those defenses cost those companies millions. So,
of course,
just because they're smarter doesn't mean they're safer. That's kind of the myth. So I thought this was just a fascinating look into using an LLM to reason its way past the guardrails, as opposed to using a human, which is what's been done in the past, to reason its way past the guardrails. The article that I'll link is kind of a summary from a news site, but it links to the actual research article, which is way more in depth. So there you go. That's my topic for the week.
Very, very interesting. Okay, very interesting. I chose 2 topics tonight, both NPM adjacent. So
we haven't been grumpy about great JavaScript in a while, so it's time for Eric to complain about JavaScript again.
Well, the first is the Axios package that was compromised. I think it was just yesterday. Yeah. Yesterday.
Yep.
So it says one of the most popular JavaScript libraries in the world. It's a HTTP library that has 100 million weekly downloads. And I didn't pull it out in the summary. Weekly. Like there was an enormous number of dependent packages. Hold on, let me actually pull that link back up, because it was. Well, hold on a second. This says Axios has over 3 million weekly downloads and 174,000 dependent NPM packages. So I'm going to go, that's a little bit of AI hallucination summary, going from 3 million to 100 million. But for about 3 hours yesterday, if you ran NPM install, you got Merry Christmas, a cross-platform remote access Trojan instead of an HTTP library. And it's a bit of a nightmare because your box was compromised if you did that. If you had a build that did not have a specific at version tagged, it would have pulled down the latest. The interesting quote in here, the link that I'll put up in here was to Datadog's analysis, but according to the maintainer whose account was compromised, 2-factor authentication was enabled on the account. So, at least in this article, they could not explain how the attacker gained access, but speculated that a recovery code may have been used. So, hard to say, hard to know, but it was, at least, again, according to the victim, I guess I'll say, he was like, I had two-factor on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of the person who reported it and the person who wound up talking to NPM and getting them to pull it and everything else was like, look, here's his quote from Digital Brain JS. It's pointless since access to Git and the NPM repository is compromised and his Git permissions are higher than mine. I'm a collaborator, not an admin. I can't revoke his access. Whatever I fix, he'll quote fix after me. So anyway, if you, presumably if you were compromised, hopefully you already know about this, but that was a pretty bad situation yesterday. And it does look like, the weird thing is they added a dependency to plain crypto.js, which is kind of a typo squatted for crypto.js. But when the library itself was built and posted, it's supposed to have been signed. But OIDC, config ID, but the attacker basically did a manual build. So, changed the email from the original maintainer's email to a Proton mailing address. There were definitely some signals in this that you're kind of like, how did that go? How did it get passed and actually published and so that it could be downloaded? With that, there's an enforcement gate that is, I bet, is there in the next year or two. So anyway, that was the big thing. Well, that was a big thing yesterday. because my number many. 2 was also yesterday, which is that Anthropic accidentally leaked their entire Claude code source effectively by publishing the source code map in their NPM package. It was a 59 megabyte file.
Oof.
You're like, wait, you accidentally did that? But yeah. Yeah, it said earlier this morning, Anthropic published version 2188 of Claude Code NPM package, but it was quickly discovered that package included a source map file which could be used to access the entirety of Claude Code source, almost 2,000 TypeScript files and more than 512,000 lines of code. And of course, like, people pulled it down, cloned it, put it in other repos before it got pulled back. So it's an interesting blueprint. I literally watched a video or listened to a video, at like 3:30 this morning when I was awake, trying to decide whether I should get up and come down to work or not.
Right.
There's some interesting hidden why people use feature flags these days, right? Like features are released and in the source code and then only exposed gradually to kind of validate and control and control the distribution and explosion if something goes wrong. But so there were at least 44 different feature flags that exposed unshipped features that are there. So there's a feature called Kairos that is a persistent background agent that fixes errors and runs tasks autonomously. There's a dream mode, which lets Claude kind of think in the background to develop and iterate ideas without user prompts. There's multi-agent orchestration, so one Claude spawning and managing worker Claudes. Browser automation via Playwright, not just web fetch, but real browser control, which I guess doesn't surprise me on that one. This was a little bit cringe-inducing. Undercover mode flag
Mm.
that if you use the undercover mode, the system prompt instructs Claude to make stealth contributions to open source projects and not revealing Claude's involvement, which is interesting. I use air quotes there.
Yeah.
This was also interesting because, Anthropic's been pretty vociferous about the fact that some, let's say, other model trainers are using Claude's output as training data. And so there's what they frame as anti-distillation defenses. So, distillation is the process of kind of taking the output of one model and helping refine generally a smaller model. But these inject fake tool definitions into API requests to poison training data if competitors scrape the outputs. So that's interesting. So there was a whole bunch of posting and analysis and evaluation of different things. So it'll be interesting to see. I'll be honest, they should open source it. One of the video I was listening to this morning was like, Claude Code's not actually the best of the agentic kind of terminal coding apps. So and they've sort of waffled around open sourcing. Just open source it. So I don't know. It'd be interesting if they did. And I honestly, I doubt it. But the one of the implications is that attack, like anytime source comes out, like attackers can study in how the data flows and see if there's cracks, vulnerabilities, things that can be exploited. So that'll be interesting. One of the comments was that attackers can now study exactly how data flows through Claude's 4-stage context management pipeline and try and craft payloads designed to survive compaction. Some effectively, how do you persist across a long session? Clearly other competitors might like Claude. It's the one that I have the most experience with. I definitely, I guess I don't have a lot of compares to know what's better, but the video I was watching this morning made me go, maybe I'll try a couple of those others just to see what I'm missing. But it's just a high profile breach.
Yep.
I mean, poor Anthropic. They are suffering growing pains at the moment. So good for them, I guess. And also, oof. Their quote, like their, statement was that it was a quote release packaging issue caused by human error, not a security breach. True. Was it really a human error? That's the thing that I'm not sure. I'm not sure I buy it's a human error.
Does Claude use their own stuff to? Yeah. It all boils down to human at some point, though. Somebody said, "Go do this."
Maybe. I think there's a lot of automation. I bet you there's a lot of automation. So
I'm quite sure. Yeah.
I don't know how true it was. The video I was listening to this morning made reference to the fact that Anthropic almost didn't ship Claude Code because they thought that it was a internal competitive advantage for them to use it internally.
Ah.
I was like, yeah.
Because once Claude Code was out there and a couple others, then everybody was in a race to do these command line, like GitHub Copilot, which I've used theirs. They're all pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, for what us old school guys who old school folks who had amber screens at some point.
Yeah, I like the text
Amber
UI.
monitors. It's yeah.
Or does TUI stand for text UI or terminal UI? I guess.
Either one.
Yeah, I mean.
So.
Alrighty.
Anyway.
All right, there you go. Good luck. Good luck pulling from NPM safely.
Yeah.
May the NPM be always in your favor.
It's always JavaScript.
Exactly. All right. I think we need to joint something fun tonight.
Yeah. How do you not do the Artemis II? I mean, it's April 1st. April Fool's Day.
Was this when my wife told me this morning? She was like, "Oh, the Artemis is launching this afternoon or evening." I was like, "For real?" I just haven't been paying attention, but
yeah.
Yeah.
It was super cool. I loaded it up and had it running on a different monitor, and
I did as well.
I was actually in the middle of a meeting from the 1 minute count, and I said, "Hey, sorry guys, I just want to watch. Give me 5 minutes."
Yeah,
and they all turned to it as well. So we all kind of watched it for the 5 minutes anyways.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So back to the moon, or at least looping the moon, and they're
back around the moon,
going around the full backside of the moon. So what's the big quote is, they will be further from Earth than any other human has ever gone. So pretty cool.
I did see that, but I guess I didn't realize, did Apollo not go around the moon? I thought they did.
They showed a couple different ways so NASA's website has, the loop and how that it's doing, and then they showed the Apollo 8 and the different Apollo missions, what their paths were. And so they would go up to the moon and then land on it, and then the moon would travel, and then they left the moon and come back. Where this one is doing while, because the whole galaxy's in motion, it's the whole, it's math, and it's fantastic.
I know. Orbital mechanics. I did not do that awesome, actually.
All around the backside of the moon at a distance so that they can come back. Anyways, I am so looking forward to the pictures.
Okay.
Super excited. So there you go. There's how do you not have the Artemis II launch today as a something fun?
That is the thing to do for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The most fun.
Mm-hmm.
I will give you a second. We'll call this a little bit minor, something fun, but
this is your list.
Well,
your
no,
top 5.
I'll copy it. I'll copy it from up top.
Okay.
One of the things we did was we went to Culloden, which is the battlefield where it doesn't sound like it was much of a battle, but where the
this Braveheart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Effectively, where they just got slaughtered by the English, and I think within 5 minutes, I think they said like 1,600 of 5,000 men were killed. Anyway, but that's actually not the point. We were at the battlefield. We walked the battlefield, and then we were hopping in the car, about to begin, unbeknownst to me, the longest journey home ever.
On a 3-digit road?
On a 3-digit road. But before we began that journey, there was a sign. Like we pulled out, and there was a sign that said the Clava Cairns to the right. And
okay.
My wife was like, oh, I read about them. Turn. So I was like, all right. Like what? Like it had not been a planned visit, but they are basically Bronze Age burial mounds with standing stones around them, and there were 3 or 4. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. I think there were 3. Where it was just totally cool. The coolest thing about the whole trip for me. One of the coolest things was like there was nobody around. Like there were 2 other like couples at this park, basically, where they had the fence and the gate, and you go in and walk around these cairns. like nobody else was there. So we sort of had the whole thing to ourselves. And like even all the castles we visited and everything else, like, I'm sure in the summer they would have been swarmed, but you're visiting Scotland in March. Are you dumb? But it worked out really, really well.
I'm glad it worked out for you.
Really, really well. And anyway, so these Clava Cairns, they are Bronze Age burial tombs, basically. Just a bit east of Inverness, and we had not planned on stopping by, but we saw the sign and we're like, kind of did a quick turn, and that was really awesome. So that's my something fun. You can read the Wikipedia page.
Very nice.
But there you go.
I like it.
That was fun.
All right,
my
John,
friend.
You
Glad to
have
be
a
home.
good night. Yeah. Hopefully you get to sleep, back to the regular sleep schedule here soon.
Yeah. I think I could go up and I'll go up and crash, and I'll be on back on schedule just in time for a 3-day weekend for when it doesn't matter. So anyway, all right. I'll talk to you later, Eric.
Yep. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.